Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I'm here with another Way Back Wednesday where I will be talking about all the books that I read in December of 2022. Looking at my Goodreads, I read a total of 4 books that month. All of them were new, none of them were rereads. The first book I read was The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a young adult Carrie retelling. You are following a young girl who is mixed, but she is white passing, and no one knows that she's black until one day she is out for PE and it starts raining and her hair starts getting frizzy, and then she's like outed by the weather. This is a super super racist town where they still have segregated proms. And so everyone's like, oh, she's been lying to us her whole life. She's actually black. She's not white. And then it causes a whole bunch of controversy. There is also a podcast element to this. So between some of the chapters, there are bits of a podcast talking about this story. And, yeah, basically it's Carrie. So it's a segregated prom. And then they're like, no, we're not going to have a segregated prom anymore. And they're mean to Carrie. Except her name's not Carrie. I don't remember what her name is. But anyway, this was a fabulous book. I like Tiffany D. Jackson's writing. I think this is only the second book of hers that I've read, but I really, really liked this one. I thought it was well written. It's also based on, like, this is a real school that still had a segregated prom in like 2010 or something. I don't know. Like, anyway, overall, really liked this one. Again, horror because it's kind of a Carrie retelling. It's not an exact retelling, but it's also like horrific because of all the racism and sexism that happens in this book. Overall, though, highly recommend. Easy 5-star for me. The next book I read was Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. This one is difficult to explain. It is set in a world where men have gone crazy and like basically turned into animals. And you are following 2 trans women as they are trying to get to the safe haven. And there's also this group of like I'm pretty sure they're like TERFs. And they're like, women are women. I don't know. Our main characters are fighting back against the TERFs. And there's something about like a secret underground lab where they're trying to cure the craziness, I think. I don't remember a lot about it. I remember that it took me a really long time to read and I wasn't that interested in it. And I didn't like it as much as a lot of other people did. So I'm sorry. That's all I can remember. The next book I read was Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is one of her fantasy novels. I adore T. Kingfisher. I've talked about her a lot on this channel. In this book, you are following a woman whose sisters have both been... She is a nun. Her oldest sister was married to this prince and then died. Her next oldest sister is now married to this prince and has been writing to her, and our main character is worried that her other sister is going to be killed. And so she goes to this witch to get help to like travel to the kingdom and save her sister. And the witch tasks her with these 3 impossible tasks that she has to do. And then they like collect people along the way. There's a demon chicken and like a paladin, I think. I don't know. And then so she's going to save her sister from this evil prince. It was so good, y'all. I love T. Kingfisher. I love her characters. I love that her characters are older characters. She does not write 20-year-olds running around in these fantasy stories. They're all at least in their upper 30s. And I appreciate that. It was just such a cute, unique story. And I love her writing. If you're looking to get into fantasy but don't want like a high fantasy or even really a high stakes fantasy, I really recommend you check out some of her work. But especially Nettle and Bone is one of her first fantasy books that I had read. I read a lot of T. Kingfisher's horror books. I'd only read one. No, this was the first fantasy book of hers that I had read, and I enjoyed it just as much as her horror books. She has such a great writing style. Her characters are so dynamic, and I really love everything that she's written. The last book I read was It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This book was all over BookTube and TikTok at the time. Our main character is based on Alexis from Schitt's Creek. It's these two like rich daughters that go to this Maine town. I think it's in Maine. Fisherman town. They get exiled there, I think, basically. Like, they make a deal with their dad that if they can live there for so long, then he won't cut them off or something. I don't know. And then it's like, so they're trying to make it in this fisherman town, and then she falls in love with a fisherman, and it's got spicy romance. It's part of a series. I didn't like it. The dialogue in this made me cringe. I hated all these characters. I didn't care about them at all. I did not understand why this book was so popular. And I've never read anything else by Tessa Bailey, and I don't think that I will, because she's just not for me, apparently. I don't know. A lot of people like this book, but it wasn't for me. Those were all the books I read in December of 2022. This was the month that we had sold our house, and so we moved and signed on the new house and everything else, and then holidays. So that's why I only read 4 books. Plus, some of these books took me forever to read because I did not like them. But, anytime I can read even a single book in a month, I'm happy about it. So I'm okay with 4 books. 2 of them, fabulous. 2 of them, not for me. And that's the way it goes sometimes. So now I want to know, have you read any of these books? What did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.